episode of the DailyFlip podcast. I'm your host, Alex, and today we're going to have a little bit of a short one for you, but we're going to go over a hot topic, which is, should DC be federalized? Throw your comments down in the comment section. That is our daily debate for today. And for those of you who don't know the context of me asking that, I'm just going to jump straight into the New York Times article. Headline reads, Trump threatens federal takeover of DC after member of Doge assaulted. So, this is a quote directly from the article. Quote, in a social media post on Tuesday afternoon, Mr. Trump shared a photograph that appeared to show Mr. Kornstein laying in the street bleeding, battered, and shirtless, writing that crime in the nation's capital was totally out of control. And then he continues on, quote, if DC doesn't get its act together and quickly, we will have no choice but to take federal control of the city, end quote. Now, of course, DC has been administered on its own footing since I believe it's 1973. Yeah, so 1973. And Muriel Bowser has not even denied the fact that this is an issue within the city. The joke going around Northern Virginia is if you're going to have your car jacked in DC, it's going to most likely be someone under 18. And in this case, it seems to be that the assailants in this case are actually young individuals who are out late at night. And this individual was out with his girlfriend, the victim, alleged victim, or sorry, not alleged victim. He is a victim, and then the alleged assaultees, because nothing is proven. He is out late with his significant other, his girlfriend, and he tries to defend her, putting her in the car, and he is assaulted. In this case, he's beaten on the road, and apparently there are two young members of this posse that have been arrested so far. And though Trump's argument is hyperbolic, is probably the best way to say it. I was going to say verbose, but he kept it pretty concise. And it's hyperbolic that all these young kids don't understand the repercussions of their actions, that they're just getting sent back out on the street. That tends to be the case in some instances, though not all of them, especially as they get older. They can be tried as adults if their crimes are severe enough. The question underlying it is there accountability within our system? How, when, why do we give people free passes? When you're under a certain age, if you're under the age of 21 or under the age of 18, the barrier seems to be that, well, if we can't trust them to make good decisions at this point underneath the threshold of 18, they can't even vote, then why would we treat them any different in a court of law? Why would we assume that they can make rational, good choices? And the question being, when Trump says that we should make it the new threshold 14, then the question would be, if they are old enough to be charged as adults or to take on the full brunt of their criminality and effectively be judged as someone who is in full control of their faculties, then why couldn't they vote then? I think it's a fascinating argument. I think we are actively removing consequences from actions within our society on multiple levels, and I've gone into it before. If you want to listen to old podcasts, go listen to plenty of them anywhere within the 100 to 200 range. Trust me, I talk about it a lot then. It's something that I've moved on from because the societal rot is important, but policy is also important. And as I live in DC, it feels, or close to DC, it feels a lot more relevant nowadays. But the point being that this is a conversation that needs to be had more nationally, and I think you need to disregard the taking over or the federalizing of the city. DC is not a state. It kind of acts as its own independent jurisdiction under federal lock and key is the best way to put it. It should be a completely federalized area. I don't think that people should be allowed to live there permanently. I think you can have office buildings. I think you can have embassies. You can have parkland. You can have federal government buildings and things like that. But to be a place of residency makes things tricky. Then again, I understand you're basically saying we're going to export the population of DC out to Maryland and Virginia, and that doesn't make sense at all practically. But in an ideal world, it will just be a federally administered area that people come to work, people come to visit, and then people don't actually live there because it creates a tricky situation where they are not properly represented, one, and two, because you don't want to have people to have a vested interest in protecting the town itself for simply keeping their housing value up to keep their place of residency strong, and that could possibly lead to levels of corruption on the federal scale. Now, of course, that is a little bit more tricky, and I would say that argument is a little bit weaker, though I do think that there is something there. But point overall is that even Elon Musk can agree that this is a situation that cannot stand. I want to know your opinion. Since this is a shorter episode, I'm going to spend a little bit more time in the comment section. Throw your thoughts down there. I want to respond. I want to go back and forth. If you think any of my ideas are stupid, one, remember, I always leave room to be wrong, to grow, to change my perspective, but also comment and we can go back and forth on it. So, with all that said, there is only one more thing to say, which is if you want to read this article, you can find the link to it in the description below that like and subscribe button. Also, down there you can find the podcast on Spotify Podcast, Podvine, as well as the Twitter handle at your Daily Flip, where I post links to these episodes on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and 6 and 6, which comes out on Tuesday and Thursday. It's all about international news, and it's meant to be really consumable. Everything from every continent in under 6 minutes. So, with all that said, there's only one more thing to say. Stay safe, don't die,